Many of life's most valuable lessons are learned on the field of competition. They really have to be learned and lived on the field of practice with lots of sweat, lots of hard work, and lots of determination. The value of patience and perseverance, hard work and determination builds character, forges friendships, tears down barriers, and brings people from all walks of life closer together. You also learn to believe in yourself, so important, to have confidence in your ability, and to take responsibility for your own life. When you face down new challenges, and you will have plenty of them, develop talents you never thought possible. You discover that you can handle anything. There's no better feeling than an achievement that you've earned with your own sweat, tears, resolve, hard work. There's nothing like it. Do you agree with that? When your story goes from here, it will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. But the fact is, no one has ever achieved anything significant without a chorus of critics standing on the sidelines explaining why it can't be done. Nothing is easier or more pathetic than being a critic. A small group of failed voices who think they know everything and understand everyone, want to tell everybody else how to live and what to do and how to think. But you aren't going to let other people tell you what you believe.
You do what you do. I mean, it is what it is. You've learned, and you're an intelligent person. You have to understand that about yourself, otherwise you're not going to be very good up there.
But generally, you have to shake things up pretty much in order to do something of consequence.
You want to talk about yourself truthfully. I mean, you have to understand yourself, and you want to speak truthfully about yourself. And if it's not going to be truthful, what's the purpose of it?
Following your convictions means you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right.
Anytime you have a great business, you always have competition, and you always have, unfortunately, the smart and the tough people coming into it. But rich men, I guess, are always targets. Rich people are always targets.
Over the years, as you have great victories and a couple of defeats, and hopefully they're only minor defeats, you learn to be a little bit more conservative.
You can never be sure of anything, can you?
Let me just tell you, what I would do when my children, when they were very young, from the time they could speak, no drugs, I would tell them. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Every week. And I'd drum it in. And I have a lot of friends who have very talented children. I have a lot of friends who have very untalented children, too. They'll never make it whether they take drugs or not, okay? But I have friends that have very talented children, but they started drinking or they take drugs. These people, you know, it's a competitive world out there, as you folks know. These people are at a huge disadvantage, And so when people ask me, you know, your kids, they're doing well, they're in business, they're making deals.
You know, I was blessed to have smart children. They did well in school, they got good marks, they didn't have problems. But a lot of that was early upbringing. I'd always say to them, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. I'd just drive them crazy. I'd say every time they'd leave, no drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. Repeat after me. But I'd drum it into their heads. And you know, you have to get through those artificial barriers. I call them artificial barriers because you can do something about it until it's too late. Once it's in your system, it's very hard to stop. Like, I don't drink, and it's very easy for me not to drink. I tell people, what are you drinking for? What are you drinking for? I had a brother, Fred, who was sadly an alcoholic, a serious alcoholic. He was much older. He was 10 years older than me, 11 years older than me, and he was as good-looking a guy as you've ever seen. He had everything going, the best personality. I have like a bad personality compared to Fred, but he started drinking, and he also smoked a lot. I think it started in college, frankly, but it got progressively worse. And he was really unable to stop. And he'd always tell me, don't you ever drink, and don't you ever smoke. He'd add the smoke in it because he smoked and he drank. And it hugely affected his health and hugely affected even his look. So I never drank. I mean, I really, when you talk about my father, I learned a lot from my father, but I learned a lot from my brother Fred. And he set an example. It wasn't maybe the example that people would think, but it really was, in its own way, an example.
So
You know, yeah, there's a certain energy you have to get. You have to build up the energy.
And a lot of the people that weren't, in my opinion, the best or the smartest became the most successful because they, right from the beginning, they had much more energy and drive. You had others that were really smart academically. They did fantastically well, but they didn't have that drive, and they had a lack of ability in one thing. They quit. If you don't have energy, you have nothing. And I see some people, they have no energy. And I say they'll never make it. They're never going to make it. And I see other people, they have the energy. Now you need the brain and you need the ideas. You can't have a lot of energy and bad ideas and not too smart. But you need energy levels to be successful.
It's always a challenge, like life itself is a challenge.
When natural disaster strikes, when people face hardship, you learn the rewards of hard work and perseverance. Never, ever give up, never quit. Persevere, never, ever quit.
Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Demand the best from yourself and be totally unafraid to challenge entrenched interests and failed power structures.
Always have passion. You've got to have passion for your family, for your life, for your church, for whatever it is. You've got to have that passion. You've got to just love it.
Look, money is interesting because it's sort of a scorecard. That's all money is. I like to enjoy my life. I did a book called Trump, the Art of the Deal. It was the #1 selling business book of all time. Said to be the biggest business book of all time, The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
It's copied all over the world. So I've had great success, but I really enjoy doing that. I enjoy doing it. If I didn't enjoy it, you couldn't do it. I mean, it would be physically impossible to do it. Buildings, which I love, and what I do best. Look, we've had tremendous success with The Apprentice. It became the #1 show on television.
It's a, it's
It's a tough job, but I've had a lot of tough jobs. I've built a fantastic company with a fantastic worth. I have a very high aptitude, and I think I was at the best schools and always did good. I was a good student. You know, words are less important to me than deeds.
And the ability to overcome adversity, making lifelong friends all along the way.
and people that can handle pressure can be entrepreneurs, can be successful. Now, I have some friends that are really, really smart, but they can't handle pressure. In which case, they should work for somebody, do great, and have a good life. There's nothing wrong with it.
I've seen so many brilliant people. They gave up in life. They were totally brilliant. They were top of their class. They were the best students. I've seen others who really didn't have that talent or that ability, and they're among the most successful people today in the world because they never quit and they never gave up. So just remember that. Never stop fighting. You will build a future.
we have the courage to chase our dreams no matter what the cynics and the doubters have to say. You will have the confidence to speak the hopes in your hearts and to express the love that stirs your souls. Each of you should take immense pride in what you have achieved.
Telling people of your achievement, who else is going to talk about it? If you're successful, if this man's successful and nobody knows it, and he wants to show his success, I guess he's got to toot his own. And let him do it. It can be done tastefully. It can be done nicely.
Never cease to be proud of who you are and the principles you hold dear and stand by. Wear your values as your badge of honor. And always have the courage to be yourself. Most importantly, you have to do what you love. You have to do what you love. I've seen so many people, they're forced through lots of reasons to go down a path that leads them to something that they don't love, that they don't enjoy. You have to do what you love, or you most likely won't be very successful at it. When you do something that you love, you'll never fail. What you're going to do is give it a shot again and again and again. You're ultimately going to be successful. And remember this, you're not working. You can do anything. You can be anything you want to be, but in order to succeed, you must find out what you love to do. You have to find your passion, no matter what they tell you. In life, in order to be successful, and you people are well on the road to success, you have to find out what makes you excited, what makes you want to get up each morning and go to work. You have to find it. Go out, have a great time in life, compete, work hard, get in the game, play to win, and most of all, have a good time, have fun, and dream big and bold and daring. We have to do that.